Chào mừng quý vị và các bạn quay trở lại với chương trình Đồng tiền thông minh trên kênh truyền hình FBNC với cuộc thảo luận ngày hôm nay liên quan đến chủ đề Corporate Governance, quản trị doanh nghiệp và Directors and Officer Insurance, bảo hiểm trách nhiệm giám đốc, cùng với cuộc trò chuyện với vị khách mời đó là ông Jason Kelly, là Phó Chủ tịch của tập đoàn bảo hiểm AIG, phụ trách bảo hiểm trách nhiệm giám đốc khu vực châu Á Thái Bình Dương. Hi, Mr. Kelly, welcome back.
Great, thank you.
Well, before I get into D&O insurance, directors and officers insurance product, which is relatively new product in Vietnam, I want to touch a little bit on AIG. AIG is the global companies, and it's been around in Vietnam since 2005. And a lot of people recognize AIG with the sponsorship, the earlier sponsorship with Manchester United,
right.
which is very famous football team in Vietnam.
Right.
But from you, could you describe AIG in a short definitions and tell us more about AIG for the audience who might have not familiar with the brand already?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So AIG is a very large multinational insurance company. In fact, one of the largest in the world, and we operate in 130 jurisdictions and geographies around the world. Here in Vietnam, we've got around 190 technical experts, staff, and dynamic agents that help find insurance solutions for the people of Vietnam. That includes both consumer and commercial insurance.
And for this Vietnam's market, you offers all wide range of products, just like in other markets as well.
So a very wide range. So everything from accident and health to travel to property and casualty to directors and officers insurance.
Okay, and one of the very interesting insurance products that we're going to talk about today is the D&O insurance product, and a lot of Vietnamese businessmen are not aware of it yet. So let's watch a short clip to tell us more about this insurance product, and then we can break it down a little bit.
Tại nhiều quốc gia trên thế giới, việc tăng cường hiệu quả cho hệ thống quản trị doanh nghiệp thường dẫn đến nhiều sự thay đổi lớn trong cách doanh nghiệp tổ chức, quản lý quy trình thủ tục kế toán, tương tác với nhân viên và nhà đầu tư. Bảo hiểm trách nhiệm giám đốc và cán bộ quản lý là một loại sản phẩm đặc thù nhằm bảo vệ lãnh đạo doanh nghiệp trước những cáo buộc sai phạm bắt nguồn từ những quyết định và hành động của họ. Để nâng cao hiệu quả quản trị doanh nghiệp, tất nhiên lãnh đạo sẽ phải áp dụng nhiều thay đổi, và những thay đổi đó đôi khi khiến họ đối mặt với những rủi ro khi quyết định sai lầm. Bảo hiểm trách nhiệm giám đốc và cán bộ quản lý D&O sẽ góp phần mang lại sự tự tin mạnh mẽ hơn cho lãnh đạo doanh nghiệp để họ đưa ra quyết định đúng đắn, hoàn thiện quy trình đánh giá kiểm tra hiệu quả, quản trị tái cấu trúc doanh nghiệp hiệu quả, giúp doanh nghiệp tuyển dụng được các lãnh đạo tài năng, tăng cường niềm tin đối với khách hàng và nhà đầu tư. Tóm lại, D&O là một loại bảo hiểm giúp bảo vệ giám đốc và cán bộ quản lý doanh nghiệp trước những cáo buộc pháp lý hoặc những cuộc điều tra pháp luật chống lại họ khi ra các quyết định liên quan đến quản trị doanh nghiệp.
Okay, Mr. Kelly, so what is D&O insurance?
So D&O insurance allows directors and officers to make important decisions. And if you're faced with always making a safe choice because you didn't have D&O insurance, that's probably an okay thing for the organization. But if you could actually make the best choice, that's a better result for the company. And so directors and officers are faced with making important decisions for the company every single day. There's a personal and potentially unlimited liability that comes with those decisions. And so a D&O insurance policy actually steps in when a shareholder, a third party, a regulator, a government agency actually brings an action against a director or officer. So we're helping reduce, mitigate, and perhaps remove that risk.
Are you saying that for the managers and corporate leaders, if they have this insurance, they can make more risky decisions?
They can make a more informed decision, right? So if you know that there's personal liability associated with every decision you make, you're probably more inclined to make the safest decision. Having a D&O insurance policy should allow you to make the absolutely best decision.
So for a emerging market like Vietnam, that we are not familiar with this product yet, how do you plan to approach the clients, and how do you plan to educate them about this new product and persuade them this is going to be important and you're going to need it?
Right. So the distribution of D&O insurance varies by geography. So in some places, we want to pitch this product to the board of directors, and there are forums to do that. In other geographies, it could be directed towards risk managers and CFOs. In Vietnam, we actually work very closely with brokers and agents. So the Vietnam insurance brokers and the Vietnamese insurance agents here actually are quite proficient in D&O insurance. They're the sales arm that we go through to bring this product to companies.
So could you give us some examples, specific example from the market that you based in right now, Hong Kong, that for any specific company that the managers and leaders, when they buy D&O insurance, they make a better decision that affect the whole company that they wasn't able to do that before?
So I think what D&O insurance does is it allows companies actually to fight for capital. So if you have an institutional investor overseas, someone on the other side of the Pacific, and they're looking for a place to park that capital, right? They want to bring that capital to the best company. And so they're going to bring that capital to where they feel there is the best corporate governance. And typically the best corporate governance has the best people, right? And so by attracting the best people and retaining those people, they're going to help you execute on those strategies. So with respect to Hong Kong, there's a challenge there among all of the Hong Kong companies actually to have the very best people, right? And to use D&O insurance almost as a recruitment tool, right? To help advance their business cause and also attract that additional investment.
Yeah, you mentioned it before in the last part of the interview when it's a tool to attract the best people and the fight for capital. So would that be important does that mean that this is going to be important for the listed company?
It's incredibly important for listed companies. Here in Vietnam, we have in excess of 400 listed companies. And with Vietnam being actually a part of ASEAN, right, there's a whole lot of foreign direct investment that wants to come to this part of the world. And so if you're a Vietnamese CEO, if you're on the board of directors of a Vietnam company, and you want to attract that foreign direct investment, that capital coming from overseas, having good corporate governance is going to help you do that. And having a D&O insurance policy is one important step of instituting a good corporate governance policy.
So there's a strong link between corporate governance and D&O insurance?
There certainly is a link, and it's an important link. And I think anyone who is thinking about serving as an executive officer or director of a Vietnam company would be throwing caution to the wind if they didn't have a D&O policy to protect them.
So what are some of the risks that the managers and corporate leaders have to face if they don't have D&O insurance?
Well, there are many risks and there are many exposures. So the first one is that personal liability, which can be unlimited. Again, their claims could come from the regulator, governmental agencies, shareholders, customers, vendors, other third parties. There's also the balance sheet exposure that the company is exposed to as well. But probably, equally important is the transparency component and bringing that investor confidence. So if an investor knows that the company they want to invest in has a D&O policy in place, they know that balance sheet protection exists for the company. They know that the company's probably attracted the best people to run that business. And so by having that D&O policy, you've mitigated balance sheet exposure, you've removed personal liability from the directors or officers, and you're attracting investment into your business.
What are some of the industry that you think managers and leaders would need D&O insurance the most? Was that banking or any risky businesses?
So any company that's listed is a good candidate for D&O insurance.
There's no specific industries?
It's really universal, and if we look to other parts of Asia, for example, it's not necessarily a technology play or an industrial play or a financial institutional play. It goes across all industries, all segments.
So there's certainly a growth potential for this kind of product in Vietnam when there's only a certain number, very low number of companies, of listed companies who buy this D&O insurance. So how do you plan to exploit that potential? How did you plan to approach more listed company and apply this product?
Well, the AIG, we're a global organization, but we pride ourselves on understanding the needs of local insureds. And so we understand that there's a need here and want to advance the economics of Vietnam. So we'd like to partner with the Vietnamese listed companies here and bring in D&O insurance and help them with their corporate governance practices. Ultimately, by building a strong corporate governance platform, you're going to attract additional capital. That additional capital will advance the economy. As the economy gets stronger, more investment will come in, more businesses will be started, and it will continue to feed on itself. We would like to be a part of that.
So D&O insurance or corporate governance practice, should it be the requirement for any company if they want to go listed? Should it be?
Well, I think it should be.
Okay.
So again, the decisions that you make are so critically important, and you want that board of directors and that senior management team to be informed, and you want them to make the best decisions, not necessarily just the safest decisions. And at the same time, you also don't want to expose yourself to an unlimited personal liability. So by not having that D&O policy in place, I think it probably slows the advancement of the decisions that the company makes. And it certainly exposes people, probably pushing them to make the safer decision instead of necessarily the best decision.
Okay. Thanks a lot for sharing. And We actually took out some questions from our audience, which is businessmen and managers, and asked them about the D&O insurance and what do we think about this product, and if they have any question for a guest. So I'm going to read out a question for you in the next part after the break.
Great.
Thank you. Thưa quý vị, vừa rồi là những chia sẻ của ông Jason Kelly, là Phó Chủ tịch của tập đoàn bảo hiểm AIG, phụ trách bảo hiểm trách nhiệm giám đốc khu vực châu Á Thái Bình Dương. Quý vị có thể xem lại chương trình phỏng vấn trên trang web của kênh FBNC tại địa chỉ fbnc.vn. Chúng tôi sẽ còn quay trở lại sau ít phút nữa.